Tonight on CTV News at 6. No pay for 60 days.
How did we get here?
North Bay City Council votes to suspend the mayor's pay in response to an integrity commissioner's report on his spending. Plus a warning to drivers after a North Bay crossing guard is struck by a car. Police say people have to be more vigilant. And a dream start to Game 5 for the Toronto Blue Jays.
So now Vlad Jr. hooks a ball down the left field line. They've gone back to start Game 5.
The Jays have now taken the lead in the series and will be looking to seal the deal tomorrow night.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Rima and Rick Wyman with weather.
Oh, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tony is off. A recent judge ruling will significantly reduce the amount that lawyers will eat out of the historic Robinson-Huron Treaty Settlement. Garden River and the Atikameksheng First Nations were the only two initially opposed to the $500 million payout that now sits at $40 million. CTV's Corey Nordstrom starts us off tonight.
When the 21 First Nations of the Robinson-Huron Treaty were awarded $10 billion in a landmark annuities case, a 5% contingency fee meant that its team of lawyers would receive $500 million. Only representatives for Atikameksheng and Garden River First Nations stood up. Now that fee will be just $40 million.
If the settlement was far less, let's say $300 million, then 5% might be fair for the legal fees. But a $10 billion award, this should have been reviewed, it should have been assessed, as opposed to, it's about fairness, and that was not a fair approach.
Despite challenging the fees for their legal team, they have nothing but positives to say about the lawyers that secured the $10 billion settlement.
Knowing that there were 15 to 17 of the nations within the Robinson-Huron Treaty territory that would get less than what that law firm was getting. And this whole process was all about and for the benefit.
Praise has started coming in for the two nations after triggering the process that would leave $487 million more for the area's 40,000 beneficiaries. Right now, relief is mostly what these leaders are feeling.
It's been a long 2.5 years. Like I said, we've been talking about, the potential of a $500 million legal fee for a long time in different settings, and that you carry a lot of weight because that's never been done before.
A lawyer representing the legal team for the Robinson-Huron Treaty Litigation Fund called the slashing of the lawyer fees disappointing in a statement to CTV News, also saying Ontario Superior Court Justice Fred Meyer's decision flew in the face of the litigation fund's firm belief that the legal team should be compensated in keeping with the fee structure that had been carefully negotiated. An appeal of Judge Meyer's decision is being contemplated. It would address his central findings as well as several negative inferences made about counsel. The legal team has already been paid $255 million. Justice Myers has ordered that all but $23 million be returned to the trust. First Nations leaders believe that the return and any possible appeal should be figured out in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Garden River.
North Bay City Council has suspended Mayor Peter Chirico's pay for 60 days. This after hearing from the city's integrity commissioner a day after he ruled Chirico violated the code on conduct on some of his spending while using a city-issued corporate credit card. CTV's Eric Tashner has the latest from last night's council meeting.
First opportunity to present the report.
When Integrity Commissioner Guy Giorno was looking into Mayor Peter Chirico's spending habits, he made it very clear his report was not a forensic financial audit.
How did we get here?
Giorno ruled $5,500 out of the $17,200 in personal expenses Chirico paid for with the city-issued corporate credit card was found to have breached the code of conduct. The violations involved nearly $3,200 for North Bay Battalion season tickets, which Chirico did not prove to be business-related, $2,200 in golf membership fees that he did not flag as personal and didn't offer to reimburse, and $200 on 3 personal meals that he claimed were for city business, even though only family members were present. CAO John Severino signed off on the spending. The bulk of the remaining expenses, gas, car washes, pet food, etc., were made with the intention of Chirico paying them back through his mileage allowance. One of the whistleblowers who filed Freedom of Information requests into Chirico's spending habits belted out.
Resign!
Council went into recess, and she was escorted out of the chambers. Then, Council squabbled over how long a pay suspension Chirico should face. Calls for a 90-day suspension, the highest penalty Council could have imposed, and a subsequent 80-day length were defeated.
A couple of these councillors fancy themselves as being the mayor's attorney for the way they were commenting. Public opinion for this group is terrible.
Before eventually settling on a 60-day salary suspension.
I've seen a lot of dysfunction and where we're not working well together, and it showed again tonight. It's up to this whole council to get their act together.
To have an open mind, to make a balanced, fair, and informed decision, and I believe that's what council did this evening.
Chirico's actions are also under the OPP and Inspector General of Policing's microscope. Giorno explained that if the investigation concluded that criminal laws were broken, he would have stopped and referred the matter to police. But he wrote he found no basis to do so.
What happened with the mayor, his part was looked at. Council still needs to take steps to make sure that we talk about public accountability and trust.
Chirico declined comment to the media. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Algoma Steel released their third quarter results yesterday, and as expected, the numbers are down. Consolidated revenue was down nearly $75 million compared to the third quarter in 2024, and shipments were down 100,000 tons. Algoma Steel had higher expenses in this year's third quarter, saying the company faced a direct tariff expense of nearly $90 million. For a full review of the third quarter results, you can visit our website at CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. Meanwhile, Algoma Steel also announcing yesterday CEO Michael Garcia will be retiring at the end of the year. Garcia led the company through some major changes, including the new arc furnace and, of course, the recent tariffs and trade war. Current CFO Rajat Marwah will take over leadership of the steel company as of January 1st. A newly released Ministry of Education governance review of the Near North District School Board has found a, quote, alarming deficit of leadership within the school board's senior administration. The review began in late August following concerns from parents and community members about the delayed opening of a new school in Parry Sound, which forced students into a class at the partially demolished Parry Sound High School. The 33-page report lays out three major factors that cause of the delays, saying the Board of Trustees were incapable of or unwilling to carry out its responsibilities. The report also points a finger at the Director of Education, a lack of accountability, and a reluctance to communicate construction delays with the community. The ministry is issuing 15 binding directions to the school board in the report and is requiring the board to submit progress reports to demonstrate the implementation of those directions. In a statement to CTV News, Education Minister Paul Calandra writes in part, I expect the board to act immediately without delay or excuse to correct these failures and put students first. If they do not, I will not hesitate to take further action to ensure accountability and restore stability. CTV News reached out to the Near North District School Board but did not receive a statement on the report by our deadline. Well, time for our first check on weather with more. CTV's Amanda Hicks joins us. She's filling in for Rick tonight. And Amanda, I saw a lot of frost when I looked out of the backyard this morning.
That's right, Ian. It was definitely a frosty start to the morning today. And you know what? Maybe it could be a frosty welcome back for the Jays that are gearing up for Game 6 tomorrow night. Plus, we've got Halloween on tap for tomorrow as well. The weather is going to change a little bit as we head into those two big events tomorrow. You're definitely going to want to wear layers if you're heading out and about tomorrow. I'll have more of those details coming up a bit later on in the show, but for now, Ian, back to you.
A frosty but warm welcome. Thanks so much, Amanda. There's more to come on CTV News at 6. For now, let's go to Timmins for a live look at the downtown core on Algonquin. This shot coming from City Hall and courtesy of the city. Weather looking not too bad at the moment, but that could change soon for trick-or-treaters. Amanda's got those details. Stay with us. You're watching CTV Northern Ontario.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
A warning for drivers today after a crossing guard was struck in the south end of North Bay. The crossing guard sustained non-life-threatening injuries, but police say the incident shows the serious risk when drivers disobey the law. The North Bay Police Service says it's received several complaints about motorists ignoring directions from crossing guards and add that disobeying a crossing guard is not only illegal but dangerous. A crossing guard stop sign carries the same legal authority as any other stop sign at an intersection. Failing to stop could result in as much as $1,000 in fines. An increase in property-related crimes has the Wik-Wemkong Tribal Police asking residents to be vigilant. According to police, they've responded to 16 incidents of theft and 10 break-and-enters in October alone. While they are actively investigating these cases, they are reminding the public to secure their homes, vehicles, and personal belongings and to report any suspicious behavior. There's been a lot of discussion surrounding Bill 60, Fighting Delays, Building Faster Act recently presented by the Ford government and how it could potentially affect renters and landlords across the province. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
Michaela Clancy has rented the same apartment in Sudbury for 10 years and says when she first read Bill 60, she was shocked.
Rental security has given my family the opportunity to budget appropriately for our lives, to budget for daycare costs and welcoming our child and the eventual hope to purchase our home. We need that rental security to be able to do these things.
Changes to the rules surrounding security of tenure, which could have led to the end of rent control certainty in the province, has halted, something Housing Minister Rob Flack announced on social media Sunday, saying our government is not proceeding with consultations.
The bill has not changed. They haven't talked in debate about removing this, but they did make a statement about it. And I think it's because their offices were also flooded with emails about how dangerous this is for them.
West says he feels there are two things that need to be done.
The Landlord Tenants Act, that act needs to be fortified and strengthened, not piecemeal, but really, meet with tenants groups, meet with landlord groups. What's the best way that regular people can utilize this and make it more effective so that both people are protected? The second one is Sudbury really needs to have the LTB back in person in Sudbury.
Sherry Jordan has 25 years experience in property management in the city and says she has been pushing for change for a long time.
Of course, we don't want landlords taking advantage of laws and tenants being left out on the street. However, we've never tried it this way in a long time. So why not make the change? Because I have clients that have me leave units empty because they don't want to deal with the LTB and the RTA. Or they turn to different ways like Airbnbs.
Jordan adds that if the government can get the landlords on side and open up more units to the public, that would maybe lower rents due to the increase in inventory. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
The days are numbered for automated speed cameras. The Ford government legislation aimed at forcing municipalities to pull the plug has passed. CTV Siobhan Morris reports.
Camden. Less than 2 weeks after it was introduced, the bill that includes turning off speed cameras has cruised through Queen's Park. The government fast-tracking the legislation despite calls for compromise.
I don't think they should remove. Then at the very least, they need to have all the other traffic calming measures installed first.
Roundabouts and speed bumps the Premier believes will do a better job at slowing drivers down. Ticketing stops by November 14th, but there's no arrival time for those road changes.
We'll continue to work with municipalities on future funding throughout the next couple of weeks on additional measures that they can take.
The Liberals think the Premier is on the wrong side of this one.
They protect kids. They protect seniors. They keep our roads safe. So what Doug Ford did today by rushing through this is he said no to the chiefs of police. He said no to sick kids.
It's a study by Sick Kids that found cameras cut speeding in school zones by nearly half.
I don't think the speed cameras have been working.
The bill that bans speed cameras will become law on Monday, but you can still be ticketed and have to pay fines until November 14th. That's also the date the government says that signs warning drivers to slow down have to be up. The plan is to add flashing lights by next September. The protection of tenants' rights, a major concern with Bill 60 introduced last week. Some renters feel violated by the bill.
Imagine working so hard and not feeling like you have a
home that's secure.
They say tenants already wait up to 18 months to be heard by the landlord and tenant board to tackle serious issues.
Horrible molds, collapsing buildings and units.
The housing minister trying to reassure renters.
Tenants have tremendous protections. That is not changing at all.
Insisting he's not trying to tip the scales in favor of corporate landlords.
It's about balance, and that's what we're trying to restore to the landlord-tenant board, is to bring balance and fairness to all.
Not convincing to tenants who feel they're already at a disadvantage.
This bill is about making it easier for the landlord you already know wants to kick you out, so that they can jack up the rent for the new tenant.
After a wave of backlash, the government has backed off considering ending indefinite leases, but there's worry the move could be revived. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Visiting an emergency room can sometimes mean having to wait to see a physician. To help people better understand why they have to wait, the Timmins and District Hospital will soon launch a series of videos to educate the public. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
Coming to the emergency department can be a stressful.
In the coming weeks, the Timmins and District Hospital will launch educational videos about what people can expect when visiting the emergency department.
In this series, we'll walk you through key parts of your emergency care journey.
The hospital's chief of emergency medical services says his team understands people are in pain, stressed, or worried about their conditions, but there's a system in place to determine the order in which patients receive care.
So it's not a first come, first serve system. It is a public system. So what we do is everyone who comes through the doors, they get an appropriate assessment, and then they give a triage number based on the severity or the acuity or how sick they are, and then we see them in that order.
The series of videos will appear on the hospital's website, social media platforms, and in the ER. The videos will also offer alternatives to visiting the emergency room.
If you're quite ill, obviously always come to the emerge. But if it's something that we call as a chronic issue that you've had for quite a long time, that hasn't changed, that can definitely be followed up if you have a primary care provider.
Harper says those working in the ER don't want people waiting either, but it's constrained by the resources it has. He asks for visitors to have compassion and to come prepared.
If you come in, especially with children, to come in prepared. If you're going to be waiting for a long time, come in with a cell phone charger because we can charge your phone. Come in with some snacks for your children. Come in with books or tablets. That's stuff that'll make your visit a little bit better.
Harper says he hopes the videos will give patients an understanding and respect for the emergency room process. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Ontario families are now waiting 5 years to get autism services for their kids. The Ontario Autism Coalition launched a Freedom of Information request after parents reported an increase in wait times over the past several years. It found that more than 84,000 children are registered for the autism program, but fewer than 20,000 of them are receiving funding to access core services. Those who are now receiving funding signed up for the program 5 years ago. Children, Community and Social Services Minister Michael Parsa refused to say whether that's an acceptable length of time. Back now for a check on the current conditions with Amanda Hicks. And Amanda, I've got a lot of work to do around the house before the snow flies. Hoping for at least a little decent weather this weekend.
Oh, Ian, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not going to be great, but we are going to see a little bit of sunshine depending on where you are, so there is that to keep in mind. We are going to see some temperatures starting to fall a little bit as we head into the weekend. Today though, was very nice. It was above seasonal temperatures. We're still seeing that as well as we look around our communities, but the temperatures are going to start to change as we get closer to Halloween. Let's take a look. Beginning in Kapuskasing, Moosonee, Cochrane, and Timmins, we've got mainly sunny skies across the board. A few more clouds in Kapuskasing, between 9 to 11 degrees for your current conditions. In Wawa, Chapleau, and Sault Ste. Marie, between 10 to 12. Mainly sunny skies in Wawa, beautiful sunshine in Chapleau, while Sault Ste. Marie has a few more clouds there. In Parry Sound, we've got some light rain falling, 8 degrees, sitting at nearer to seasonal there. And Kirkland Lake, Temiskaming Shores, and North Bay, some more cloud coverage, a little bit more sun in Temiskaming Shores. And then finally, for the last 4 communities here, we've got sunshine across the board and more cloudy skies in Sudbury. Those were the current conditions. Ian.
Thanks, Amanda. Next on CTV News at 6. An apology today in Ottawa aimed at those serving within the Canadian Armed Services. And the U.S. Senate votes to suspend tariffs on Canada, but will it make a difference? Canada's armed forces are apologizing to current and former members for what they say is a history of racism and racial discrimination.
On behalf of the Canadian Armed Forces, I offer my most sincere and deepest apologies. I apologize to every CAF member, veteran who experienced racism, discrimination, and harassment. And I acknowledge we failed you.
The formal apology was delivered today in Ottawa. It's meant for current and former armed forces members and their families who have experienced racial discrimination and racial harassment in connection to their military service. Prime Minister Mark Carney is getting his first look at the South Korean contender to replace Canada's aging submarine fleet. On the margins of the APEC summit, Mark Carney visited the Hanwha shipyard, accompanied by South Korea's president. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
This is Hanwha's KSS-3 submarine, launched into the sea just in time for the Prime Minister's visit. Mark Carney climbed down 7 meters to check out what the South Koreans want Canada to buy.
I told him we can build a submarine in 6 years.
The Royal Canadian Navy needs to begin replacing its aging fleet by 2035. Of its 4 submarines, only 1 is operational, the others in maintenance.
It's the only technology in the Navy that guarantees that we control our waters. We get to say who comes into our waters, and if they don't have our permission, then we can keep them out.
Hanwha uses robot technology to build its submarines, which will cost about $2 billion each. It's competing with a German-Norwegian venture. Carney toured TKMS over the summer. Its state-of-the-art vessel is still in production. During a visit to Ottawa last week, the CEO didn't provide a cost estimate.
And of course, we will calculate on a base what the customer wants to have, which capabilities should the submarine have. So for us, I think it's too early to shout out a price range.
The Navy wants to buy 12 new submarines. The successful bid must also benefit Canada.
Factors like industrial benefits for the country, the use of Canadian inputs, materials like steel, the timeliness of the delivery of a submarine, for example, will be important for us.
The federal government says it will choose the winning submarine contractor in 2026, but it could happen earlier. Judy Trin, CTV News, Koje, South Korea.
The U.S. Senate has passed legislation that would nullify Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada after 4 Republican senators voted with the Democrats.
The right answer to the U.S.-Canada relationship on trade is to go back to the table on USMCA, find anything that hasn't worked, anything that can be made better, negotiate and make it better.
The joint resolution passed 50-46. It's the latest in a series of votes this week to terminate the national emergencies that Trump used to impose tariffs. But ultimately, it's a symbolic move. House Republicans have passed new rules preventing the resolution from getting a vote in-house. Well, this just in to CTV News. Residents in the Falconbridge area of Sudbury say they are experiencing dust from the smelter again today. Glencore is aware of the complaints and said in a statement to CTV News the smelter was operating under normal conditions today, but the company has curtailed operations as a precaution. The smelter response team has been activated and are conducting sampling as well as going door to door in the community, advising residents. We're following this story. For the latest, visit our website at CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. Well, there's more news ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Amanda Hicks.
Thanks, Ian, and we have some spooky weather on our hands for Halloween tomorrow and for the Jays game. Not quite ideal temperatures, not quite ideal weather. We've got a real northern mix of some snow, some rain on the go, but just make sure to keep your jackets handy, layer up. If you're wearing your jerseys, your costumes, that's what you're definitely going to want to do for Halloween and for the big Jays game tomorrow. Looking at the forecast radar, though, by 6 o'clock Friday, we are going to see some precipitation in the southeast corner of our of our broadcast region, Algonquin Park there. That's where you're going to be seeing the most majority of it by Saturday. A little bit of scattered precipitation here and there continuing on into Saturday evening. So temperatures are going to start to fall a little bit as we head into the weekend. Saturday predominantly is going to be the cooler day. Overnight though, we've got partly cloudy skies in Sudbury, some -1 degree overnight, -2 in Timmins, and a chance of rain in North Bay sitting at 1 degree. Moosonee, we've got 3 degrees, periods of drizzle, partly cloudy skies in Wawa with high around 1 degree overnight, and then 5 in Parry Sound overnight with a chance of rain showers or wet flurries. But let's take a look at the 7-day forecast and what we're going to be seeing over the next week, starting with Sudbury Nickel Belt. So for Halloween tomorrow, high of 5 degrees, mix of sun and cloud, more cloud on that spectrum there. By Saturday, chance of showers, high of 3. The clocks roll back on Sunday, but we'll be seeing some sunshine, high of 6, and then a chance of showers to start the week. For Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, 8 degrees for tomorrow, cloudy skies, really setting the mood for Halloween night for sure. Chance of sleet on Saturday, high of 5 degrees, cloudy skies rolling in by Sunday, high of 7, and then a chance of showers to start the work week. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, 4 degrees for tomorrow, chance of sleet continuing on into Saturday, temperatures falling slightly to 3 degrees. Rising to 5 degrees on Sunday. The sunshine returns there, but then we see those chance of showers rolling back in on Monday. For Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, 5 degrees for tomorrow, cloudy skies, chance of showers on Saturday, high of 3. 5 degrees on Sunday, but we do start to see a little bit of sunshine. So Ian, as I was mentioning, there will be some sunshine in the forecast. Chance of showers on Monday. Temperatures rising to 8 degrees, slightly above normal for this time of year. And finally, for North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of sleet for tomorrow, high of 5, holding on to that temperature for Saturday with a chance of showers. Some sunshine on Sunday, chance of showers on Monday as well, sitting at around 8 degrees, which is about the normal for this time of year. And for today's weather pick of the day, it was sent in by Paula Roy from South Porcupine. And she says that she got this visitor the other day, a friendly visitor, this cute fox. And thank you so much, Paula, for sending that in to us. And we'll have more news coming up after this. Stay with us.
It seems more Canadian snowbirds are deciding to fly elsewhere this winter to avoid the U.S. as their vacation destination. The number of Canadians crossing the border has been steadily dropping, and a new survey finds it's likely to continue well into next year. CTV's Pat Foran has that story.
More Canadians are turning their backs on travel to the U.S., deciding to either stay home or choose sunny destinations somewhere else. A survey by the Travel Health Insurance Association of Canada found that only 26% are likely to go to the U.S. That's a 37% drop from last year. The survey found of those 61 years of age and older, only 10% are likely to go to the U.S. That's a 66% drop from the year before.
We've certainly seen a move by some to get away from maybe ownership or long-term rentals in the U.S. in favor of other southern climates.
The survey found Canadians are concerned about rising travel costs, political tensions, exchange rates, and safety. The shift comes at a time when the U.S. is introducing new entry requirements, which mean Canadians staying for longer than 30 days need to register and provide their fingerprints, be photographed, and pay a $30 fee.
Having your photo taken and your fingerprints done feels really weird and wrong to us, but the reality is many countries all over the world have already been doing this for the last decade.
Travel expert Barry Choi says while travel to the U.S. is down, he believes many families will continue to go to U.S. attractions, but keep a lower profile and not post on social media. He says snowbirds that own property in the U.S. will also find it hard to stay away.
If someone's a snowbird and they own a vacation home in Florida or Arizona, of course they're going to go.
Canadians avoiding the States are also planning to spend winter months in Europe, including Portugal and Spain. Trips to Mexico and the Caribbean will also depend on the weather and the cost of travel. If American destinations cut prices, it may be enough for some to reconsider a U.S. trip.
If some of the U.S. destinations start to go on sale, maybe that easy trip over the border still prevails.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Many families are struggling to make ends meet and increasingly relying on food banks. Ottawa has vowed to tackle the cost of living, but how? CTV's Heather Wright reports.
In her spare time, Annetta Wozniak bakes. Cream puffs, tiramisu, beautiful cakes. It's a passion of hers, but also a way to try and make some extra money.
It's a huge challenge to live in downtown Toronto.
Wozniak is one of the millions of Canadians living paycheck to paycheck. She's a single mom and has a job, but is struggling. She uses the food bank where she also volunteers, but fears she may soon be evicted as she struggles to pay rent.
I don't pay fully rent because I don't make enough. My one income, it's not enough for me and my daughter. But I'm doing my best.
With the Carney government set to unveil its first budget next week, people like Wozniak will be watching for anything that might make their lives more affordable. The Liberals have already announced plans to make the National School Food Program, which provides meals to 400,000 children, permanent. Ottawa will also start automatic benefits for the 2026 tax year that will ensure 5.5 million low-income Canadians receive eligible tax breaks, including the GST HST credit, the Canada Child Benefit, and the Canada Disability Benefit. There could also be tax breaks to help those working in skilled trades and personal support workers. But financial experts caution it's unlikely the federal budget will include anything that will make an immediate impact on affordability.
I can't imagine anything in the budget that is going to be even targeted specifically for you that's going to be material enough to take you from being in a situation of financial despair to one of financial success overnight. That's just an unrealistic expectation.
While the government is expected to increase spending in certain areas, the Prime Minister has also warned of sacrifices that will have to be made during this time of economic uncertainty. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Every fall, the Sudbury Food Bank does a fundraising bailout, but in light of postal disruptions this year, it's on hold. CTV's Elena Everson explains.
This is the Sudbury Food Bank warehouse. It's the distribution point for food that goes out to local food banks, meal and specialty programs throughout Greater Sudbury.
We are getting requests somewhere in the neighborhood of 16,000 requests a month for service from the food banks, from the food bank network, from the 39 agencies that make up the network. And it's just incredible that the amount of food and funds that's required out there by these individuals in order to meet the need in their communities.
Every fall, Sudbury Food Bank does a mail out as a big fundraiser. But with postal disruptions, it's now launched a community collaboration food drive throughout Greater Sudbury at local grocery stores and other locations.
And it turned out that almost every food bank has a local grocery store that is willing to help out. And so most of our locations for this event will now be at grocery stores in that community where that particular food bank operates.
Instead of us going to you and asking for money, you're popping by us for any money or food that you want to give to your local food bank, not to the Sudbury Food Bank.
Exelon says the food bank is still hoping to do a mail-out in the coming weeks, but the drive comes at a time when it's desperately needed.
The fall, we're raising a lot of money that buys our milk, our meat, our bread, things like that we can buy in bulk, larger amounts.
This Saturday, the Community Collaboration Food Drive will be at the Your Independent Grocer in Lively, and November 7th at the Foodland in Garson. Other locations are listed on the Sudbury Food Bank Facebook page. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Still ahead on CTV News at 6. A big and much-needed win for the Toronto Blue Jays in the World Series. We'll have more on how last night went after the break.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
It was a dream start to Game 5 of the World Series as the Toronto Blue Jays looked to take the lead in the best of 7 against the LA Dodgers, and it all started as soon as Davis Schneider got up to bat.
Here he comes, and off we go in Game 5 with a fastball that's hit in the air to deep left field, call to the track, it's a home run on the first pitch of Game 5. On the very first pitch, and now Vlad Jr. hooks a ball down the left field line. They've gone back-to-back to start Game 5.
First two batters, 2 home runs, gets Toronto on the board early in the game. The mood was set after that as the Jays maintained their lead throughout the 9 innings. Trey Yesavage had an unbelievable 12 strikeouts before being relieved, a record for the most strikeouts by a rookie in a World Series. Jays win with a final score of 6-1. Blue Jays now lead 3 games to 2. Game 6 returns to Toronto Friday night. Looking ahead to Game 6, a North Bay superfan is headed to Toronto for the big game. Jazz Matan, a teacher at École Secondaire Publique Odyssée in North Bay, was at the stadium for Games 1 and 2 in Toronto. Matan says as a Jays fan, he just has to be there to watch the crowning moment for the winning team. He's expecting the roof to be blown off the stadium from the noise if the Jays win tomorrow night.
I've been to quite a few games, and none as big as these. And having the chance to go to Games 1 and 2 was extra special. And now the fact that they were able to win 2 games against the Dodgers in LA is just over the moon. And now we're bringing it back to Toronto.
The Jays could win the whole thing tomorrow night, but if it goes to Game 7, Matan says he'll be there to watch and cheer them on. Meanwhile, robots have been replicating reality from Major League Baseball teams in a major way. Hitters can face any pitcher from any team at any time, and it's all thanks to an AI pitching robot created by 2 University of Waterloo alumni. CTV's Spencer Turcotte shows us the game-changing tech being used at the highest level.
On baseball's biggest stage, teams are searching for any advantage against opposing pitchers.
Trey Yesavage. Yeah. He throws from an extremely high release point. You've never seen him before. How did you prepare for him?
I mean, we did a lot of trajects at home, getting used to him.
The Traject Arc pitching robot, created by a pair of University of Waterloo grads, is shaking up Major League Baseball by replicating pro pitchers.
You're actually able to visualize the delivery. And not only that, the machine will move left and right to any release point.
The technology allows you to pick anywhere you want the ball to be thrown inside the strike zone. So for example, this one's going to go up and inside to a right-handed hitter.
The Mississauga-based company is working with 25 MLB teams and their affiliates. They can project directly on screen to scale the pitcher they'll be going up against while the machine emulates the exact release point.
We actually doubled down on the ability to replicate the visual cues that the batter's going to see and go to that extra level of specificity to see that hand pronation.
The advantage generally lies with the home team. At over 1,000 pounds, the Traject Arc doesn't travel with players. Both the Dodgers and Blue Jays have referenced it in recent weeks.
It's something it's tough to replicate, you know, from video or Traject, whatever you want to call it.
The Traject team is constantly adapting.
Even rule changes like the ABS that's coming up next year, we were prepared for that. We have that integrated into our product, and the second that it's ready, we're ready for it.
The tech has even forced some rule changes of its own.
The teams are really the ones who lobbied to be able to use it in game with MLB. We had to make custom modes in the app to auto-detect that a game was happening, cut off certain features, and make sure it was fitting within the rules.
World-changing tech used in the World Series and being considered for other sports around the world. But for now, they're keeping their eye on the ball. Baseball, that is. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News.
Last night, of course, was a big baseball night, but there was one pretty big OHL game on the docket with the Sioux Greyhounds visiting the Wolves down at the Sudbury Arena. And let's just say it wasn't Sudbury's night.
Picked up by Jeremy Martin. Jeremy Martin gets it ahead. Luca Blonda will pick it up, but he threw it right behind the net where the Greyhounds are. And now it's 8-1 as they tap that one in.
By the sounds of it, you could have heard a pin drop in there. That was goal number 8 from Jordan Huron, his 2nd of the night and 13th of the season. Marco Minosa would also leave the ice with a pair of goals. Things just falling apart for the Wolves in the second period as the Sioux scored 7 times. Final score 8-2 for Sault Ste. Marie. Meanwhile, the Greyhounds continue their jaunt down Highway 17. They take on the North Bay Battalion tonight at 7 o'clock. Over in the NOJHL, there are 2 games happening. The top-rated Hearst Lumberjacks are in Timmins to face off against the Timmins Rockets 7 o'clock at the MAC, while the Greater Sudbury Cubs play host to the Sioux Thunderbirds. Last time these 2 teams played the game, it ended in a tie. Is there going to be a winner? Well, we'll find out. That game starts at 10 after 7. A classic rock band will play in Sudbury tonight, and when they perform one of their iconic songs, the crowd will also get to hear some local voices. CTV's Angela Campbell reports.
For decades, Foreigner has been belting out hits in front of adoring fans, and now they're back in Sudbury.
They're going to expect to know a lot more songs than they realize are Foreigner songs. We are one of the few bands in the world where our songs are more famous than the band is.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Famers are on their fall Canadian tour before a significant milestone next year, 50 years since the band was first formed. They've got a short Vegas residency, more touring, a documentary, the relaunch of a musical, and even new songs to release.
Right now, we're firing on all cylinders, so why stop?
At almost every show, Foreigner showcases the talents of local school choirs, providing vocals on one of their iconic ballads.
People, especially kids, they need the arts, they need music. So we're trying to raise awareness about that. We donate money to their schools for them coming down. And then to have that choir on stage singing with us, it's an incredible experience. It's a real lift in the show.
Tonight, the choir from Sudbury Secondary School will be on stage with the band.
That will be, I think, second last song, pretty iconic song, and they sound really good doing it, so it's going to be cool to sing with the band this amazing piece.
It's just such a cool, like, landmark experience. Like, nobody gets to be like, yeah, I sung on stage with Foreigner, like their hit song. That's insane. It's a crazy thing to try and wrap my head around.
Following tonight's performance in Sudbury, Foreigner will head to Sault Ste. Marie for a concert Saturday at GFL Memorial Gardens, where Superior Heights Collegiate will provide the choir help. Angela Gamble, CTV News, Sudbury.
A classic video game soundtrack is being released on vinyl, and Daniel Radcliffe is back on Broadway. David Daniel has these stories and more in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Music and video game lovers, listen up. The memorable score of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is coming out on vinyl. Nintendo and Laced Records are putting out a double LP and an 8 LP box set, available in limited edition color vinyl or standard black. You can pre-order now. The discs are due out June 19th, 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that really drew me into it.
Daniel Radcliffe is returning to Broadway. The Tony-winning actor, who's also done some film work, is set to star in the one-man show Every Brilliant Thing. Previews begin February 21st, and a 13-week engagement starts March 12th.
It became a second profession.
Henry Winkler has had several careers: television star from Happy Days to Barry, film roles including Scream and The Waterboy, producing and directing, and co-authoring more than a dozen children's books. And today is his 80th birthday. Happy birthday, Henry Winkler. In Fonziewood, I'm David Daniel.
Two more of the Magnificent Seven companies reported results today. Here's BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez.
Amazon and Apple reported earnings after the end of the trading day. Let's start with the iPhone maker. iPhone revenue for the quarter was above $49 billion US. The company's getting a boost from its new model, iPhone 17, only introduced last month. Still, Apple narrowly missed the estimate, but analysts aren't too concerned. Amazon reported a strong performance for its web services. Revenue came in above $33 billion for the quarter. That's a 20% improvement from last year. The earnings report sent shares climbing in after-hours trading. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.49. West Texas Intermediate crude slightly up to 60.57. Western Canadian Select is up to 48.19, and the TSX gained 34 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up 86.84, closing the day at $24.47 US an ounce. Silver up $1.15 to end the day at $48.91. Copper and nickel both went down 8 cents, ending the day at $4.92 for copper and $6.80 US a pound for nickel. All right, Amanda is back now for one last look at the weather. And Amanda, I'm hoping for warm thoughts, but it might not help.
Keep manifesting, Ian. That's what I'll be doing as well. But doesn't look like it's going to be like that. Scarecast for tomorrow. Sudbury, mix of sun and cloud, 5 degrees, chance of sleet in Timmins, while Sault Ste. Marie will be seeing some cloudy skies. 8 degrees for Halloween, 60% chance of sleet in North Bay, 5 degrees, chance of sleet as well in Parry Sound, in between some sunny breaks there, and then Temiskaming Shores we'll see some cloudy skies. So frightfully cold. Ian.
Bundle up, trick-or-treaters. Speaking of Halloween, it's less than 24 hours away, and some of us like a good scare. You know, something to get the heart beating a little, and it appears the Sioux Greyhounds are no exception. Take a look.
Okay,
hey. Hey,
Good
morning.
What's going on?
The club did their best to scare team members as they made their way into the arena, and if it wasn't this scaring, it was what I'm hoping was a rubber snake. Sure looks realistic though. Some hounds didn't flinch, and others, let's just say, they got that heart rate up pretty good. Well done. Love seeing everyone get into that Halloween spirit. That's our newscast this Thursday night. Amanda will be in at 11:30 with all you need to know. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Go Jays, go. Good night.